Good morning, everyone. This is Mike Yurigan at Golf Brevard. We're at Spessard Holland this morning, and wanted to give you a few updates and then some couple of tips as we get through the end of the video. We're pretty excited. We're actually going to be talking with the board today regarding the greens restoration here at Spessard Holland next May, and I'm going to give a short presentation to the board and what we're looking for, and then Mr. Proctor and I will do a little bit more of an in-depth process of what we're going to do. But I thought we'd come out this morning and just give you some highlights of what's going to transpire if everything goes well and conditions, and we can reserve the sod and everything that we need. So what we're going to do is we're going to core down the greens somewhere between 8 and 12 inches. And then obviously if we have some subtleties or some issues that we might want to go a little deeper, but more than likely we'll stay at that threshold, and potentially we could go a little deeper. So what that means is that we'll come in and we'll strip, the contractor will come in and strip the grass out. We'll eliminate that completely. Then we'll dig down, we'll take all that sand and all that material out, and then what will happen, we're putting in what you call a snake drain. And a snake drain is, instead of doing the herringbones and everything across the green completely, if you take number 18 for an example, right in the middle of the green, the water flows off the front edge of the green. So what we'll do is that with the way the sand and the topography will be, is that the water flows to that spot. Instead of putting in and spending another $100,000 or $200,000 more in drainage, we'll have that one specific drain that'll drain the water from there out to the front of the green and out, so that we could have 1.5 inches of rain in 30 minutes and the greens would drain and we could actually play as long as the rest of the course is playable. So in that case, that drainage will go in, we'll put the material on top, but then what they call is they'll float it out with some water irrigation. Then we're getting the sod from Pikes Creek, and we're doing sod, and Steve and I'll discuss that a little bit more in detail. But then what we'll do is we'll, sometime in that May period, from May 1st to June 1st, we'll be able to have everything prepped and ready to go. The sod will come in, the company will lay it in. Anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks or less, we'll be playing golf. If we do it the other way, and what we'll describe in the video that Mr. Proctor and I will do, is that if we sprig the greens, which you see traditional private courses and some of the other courses, they bring in the sprigs in bags, they shake them out, they disc them in, water and fertilizer, roll them, takes about a 5-month process. So this way, if we sod them, which will be a little more expensive, Mr. Proctor and I will go over again in the next video, describing that, we can be playing golf anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks or less, as opposed to being completely closed or down or having temporary greens for 5 months. So as we get approval from the board and I get all the numbers from all the contractors and everything, and we get approval, we'll come back, we'll do that video and get a little more in depth. But obviously the whole reason to do that is to get rid of the eradication of the paspalum, some of the intrusions from the other grasses, the 419 that's come in from the fringes, you name it. So when we get to that putting surface with Tiff Eagle, is what the grass we're going to be using, will give us an incredible surface to putt on. Most of the private clubs in South Florida and North Florida have Tiff Eagle. Some of the clubs are going to Zoysia, which is, I know Michael Jordan's got he's got Zoysia down at his golf course down in Hope Sound. Obviously, we're looking this for the long haul, that this is a 15 to 20 year process, so we don't have to go back and have to redo the greens again. Now, at a 15 to 20 year cycle, if they want to come back in, and whoever's here, hopefully I'll be retired by then, they can come in and they can resurface the greens and they can do everything, because the drainage will be in tow already. It'll be ready to go. So that's kind of what we're going to do with the grass. We're pretty excited about it. It's going to change the cultural practices over here dramatically. You won't have the look of the paspalum. It will be a pure surface. and we'll talk about that in our next video with Mr. Proctor and I again. We're going to keep the integrity of the greens. There might be a spot here on the putting green where we are today where we're going to take one area and we'll create a little different mounding and just move the dirt around a little bit. We're not going to change a whole lot of contours, but have a specific area for putting and then a specific area for chipping. So when we come out here during the day, we could have 10 or 15 people out here chipping and putting, and everybody's kind of getting in their own way. So we'll be able to separate that a little bit. So I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see where we go and get permission from everybody and talking with the county and getting all the permitting that we need to do that. But fantastic. I can't tell you how excited I am about that. Update on habitat. We had a terrific week, the 15th, 16th, and 17th verification. We did the smaller tines just because of conditions, weather. It's been dry. And this week it looks like we're going to get a lot of rain. So we've air-fied, we've top-dressed. We've gone back yesterday, and Jamie and Jason were out verticutting, smoothing out the surface, brushed them back in again, and I didn't take any video of them, but they are green and healthy and fantastic. So I couldn't be happier with that. We've got the mold cricket application down on Wednesday morning. Alvin was out, did a lot of work on the golf course and some of the eradication of the peppers. We continue to do that. Again, with that said, with all the things that we're doing, we need your support and we appreciate it. And we'll give you a little more details on the greens project as we go into next summer. But I'm hoping by the end of the week we can get something out to you, and we'll have final approval and we'll be ready to go. And we'll keep you up to date on all of those things. So I figured with that, I give you a little tip today regarding it's I guess we could go about a million different ways with this, but one of the things that I've tried to really make sure that everybody understands when they're taking a lesson or they're watching golf on TV is that now you have the monitors that the players are using. You have the teachers. They have a putting coach, a swing coach, a pitching coach, a nutritionist. These guys and gals have got a great team behind them, and obviously at the end of the day, it's like Brooks Koepka said in his interview. He said, look, it's me on the golf course. I've got to perform. I can have all these people around me giving me all this positive feedback or whatever, but I still have to go out and I have to play my game of golf. And he's 100% right. And what the professionals do that we're getting a little bit better with technology, like the TrackMan that you see on the driving range when you come out for a demo day, it's about a $25,000 or $30,000 machine. Tells you all the numbers you want. Then you see the little one that Rory McIlroy and some of the ladies on tour, Jin Young Ko, and some of them will carry around, and George Spieth had at Bay Hill, and I got to see it up and close. They put it right in front of the ball, and it gives them spin, it gives them ball speed, all the different things. So ball speed has become a really fancy term in golf right now. Is what is the speed that the ball comes off the club face? Driver. Those guys, Bryson DeChambeau, and I'm sure this is accurate, he said his swing speed was 150 miles an hour and his ball speed with the driver was around 200. That's about 20 to 30 points higher than everybody else. I think Rory McIlroy gets up to 180. My son with his drivers in the 173 to 175 range, and he's working on getting it a little bit faster. And he's swinging at 123, 125. So that's tremendous speeds to try to control the club face. So what happens in the average golfers and as higher handicappers is that our body breaks down. We don't have the flexibility, so we try to manipulate the golf club as much as we can. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips that you can practice. And you hear ball velocity coming off the baseball bat in baseball when you're watching baseball on TV. The initial velocity that the golf club creates and the ball comes off the club face is obviously based on swing speed, how close to the center you can hit the golf ball, not on the toe, not on the heel. Some of the new equipment gives you that ability to get something out of a bad swing or on the toe or heel. But the biggest factor for right-handed and left-handed golfers is your lead arm that's closest to the hole. When your lead arm creates a poor path across, out too far to the right, or it goes down the line, and then your arm goes up and it stops, then you've slowed down the club head. So what you can practice is you can, I like to do this just to get a sense of where my exit point is with the golf ball. Rory McIlroy talked about it in his interview last week before the PGA Championship. He said, I'm trying to get my ball started on my start line. And that start line is maybe a couple degrees to the right, which we call 1 o'clock. So he's going to try to draw the ball. If he's starting the ball at 12 o'clock, he's trying to make a straight ball. And if he's going to start the ball a couple of degrees to the left, maybe 11 o'clock, he's probably going to cut the ball. So what you can practice to not let your lead arm screw things up is you can start with, I use a putting grip when I chip sometimes based on the lie, is that I'm working on trying to get the golf club to go through the golf ball, not out on the golf ball and not across. Some golfers, as you all know, when they get in the bunker, they open way up and they try to swing across the ball and try to lift the golf ball up with the face coming underneath, which creates a little more spin or whatever. When you get in the bunker and you start manipulating all that stuff, you can get in a lot of trouble. Skull it, hit it fat. So the reason this drill is really good for your irons and your chipping is that Brad Faxon and Brandel Chambly were on the Golf Channel after the round, and they were talking about Viktor Hovland's chipping issues that he had. Well, he's got a coach that's been working on his chipping and his pitching around the greens, and Brad Faxon made a great comment, and I was fortunate enough to play a couple rounds of golf with Brad, and he is a fantastic putter like everybody says, and he made a comment that they're working on Viktor's swing was bottoming out behind the golf ball because his shoulder and his head was falling back, so it was making him hit up on the ball too much. So his coach got him to slightly open the blade, slightly, and start trying to get his head to move with the chip or pitch so that he would get the club to bottom out in front of the golf ball. And obviously, you saw some of those pitch shots he hit at Oak Hill were phenomenal shots. You can't do that from back here. You can't do that with your golf swing from back here. You have to continue to work on getting through the ball. So if my left arm goes, and I tilt, my left arm's probably going to go this way. If I'm a left-handed golfer and I do the same thing and I tilt, my club and my arm is probably going to end up going out to the left. So practice, put the ball on a tee. Practice the club coming through your exit point, which is straight through. Even if you got to put a couple of golf balls as a directional to allow you to see the flight of your golf ball going out over that. And then obviously you can cheat a little bit, which some of the pros try to put a little cut spin on the ball. They might open up their stance a little bit, take it a little bit more outside and cut across it. But what they're doing is they're still swinging. Their exit point or follow through point is here. You're not going to go open up and do everything and then go this way, which a lot of us do. So even though you're going to cut the ball a little bit or have a little side spin on it, you still have to get your exit point has to be to the left. Same thing when you close the club face. You'll hear some of the commentators on TV, well, he put a little hook spin or she put a little hook spin on the ball. Well, they might have aimed out to the right, closed the club face a little bit, changed the path of their swing instead of being straight back and straight through, more to the in, more to the out, with a little bit of closure of the club face. So righties and lefties, ladies and men, work on getting your exit point in front and through, and let your right side and your head follow that, and you'll become a better chipper. It's when you get here and you start doing all this stuff, and you don't move, and everybody says, well, you got to be real quiet when you chip. Well, yes, I can be real quiet. I can do that with here, but now my stroke is what? It's like a putting stroke. I'm not going this way. I'm not tilting. Down, through. And work on that a little bit. If you need any help, come see us. We'll be happy to help you in any way we can. And again, I want to thank all of you for your support. It's getting summertime out here, but get out in the morning, late afternoon. Hopefully the rains will stay away till after 8 o'clock at night, and we continue to make improvements to both golf courses. And again, I want to thank you. The irrigation system is 99% done at Habitat, and we're looking to move on to Spessard Holland and doing a lot of great things over here over the next 6 months to a year. So thank you again. We'll see you soon.